actually texted Shadeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199.
Yeah.
So who could speak on it better than me, like what that really means?
You don't think Shedeur Sanders ever starts a game for the Cleveland Browns? I don't believe he starts a game this year, obviously barring injury, which is the conversation you and I had. And if he doesn't get an opportunity to start a game this year because of injury and show something different than he was able to show this preseason, I don't believe they view him as a franchise builder, a franchise starter.
I know where I kind of want them to go. And let's not forget Shadow, okay? But I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that, hey.
Did Tom Brady just reveal the real reason why the Cleveland Browns don't trust Shedeur Sanders? Because the way this all unfolded, from his draft slide, to the awkward things Brady said, to the way the Browns stacked their quarterback room, it doesn't feel like a normal rookie story. It feels like there's something bigger at play. Shedeur was hyped as one of the most talked about quarterbacks coming out of college, but by the time the draft wrapped up, he'd fallen all the way to the 5th round. And when the Browns finally picked him, fans thought it was his chance to prove everyone wrong, except that's not what happened. Instead of competing for quarterback 2, he was shoved into quarterback 3 behind another rookie, Dillon Gabriel. And if that wasn't enough, the Browns went out and added Bailey Zappe to the practice squad, basically making it clear Shedeur wasn't even a priority. That's when people started putting the pieces together. Why did Brady hesitate when Shedeur's name came up? Why were NFL execs already pushing back against Deion Sanders before draft night even ended? And how much of Shedeur's NFL spot actually came down to talent versus his dad making sure one of his sons didn't get left behind? And the first place this all shows up clear as day is inside the Browns' quarterback room itself. Going into preseason, the backup battle looked simple. It was Shedeur versus Dillon Gabriel, 2 rookies, both with hype, both fighting to sit behind Joe Flacco. But the Browns didn't even hesitate. Gabriel won quarterback 2, and Shedeur dropped to quarterback 3. That was the first red flag. If Cleveland really believed Shedeur had the star potential his dad keeps selling, they wouldn't have chosen Gabriel over him.
Shedeur Sanders is officially on the roster. Ain't no way in hell he wasn't gonna make it. He also gonna be the 3rd QB. A lot of people mad. I see it as an opportunity. Think about it. Joe Flacco, old ass, he one snap away from retiring. And then you got Dillon Gabriel. Yeah, all them motherfucking interceptions he threw in that preseason. I know it's the preseason, but if he can throw it in the preseason, he damn sure can throw it in the regular season. All Shedeur got to do is sit back, watch his team lose, and they realize, oh damn, we need a hero. We need somebody to come in here and save this fucking franchise. And would you look at that? Shedeur would be starting.
In the last preseason game, Coach Kevin Stefanski yanked Shedeur late in the 4th and put Tyler Huntley in for the 2-minute drill. To fans, it looked like the Browns didn't even want Shedeur to shine. And if that's how they treat him before the season starts, it's hard to imagine them suddenly believing in him when the games actually count. Which is exactly why Tom Brady's comments about Shedeur sounded less like encouragement and more like a warning. When he sat on Impulsive and got asked about Shedeur sliding all the way to the 5th round, he froze. Instead of defending him, instead of hyping him up as underrated, Brady hesitated, stuttered, and then went safe. I wasn't part of the evaluation process.
And it's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process or to
Skip Bayless says
that.
otherwise.
No, well, everyone's got that's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want and get away with it.
Crazy.
It's kind of unfortunate because there actually used to be a lot of integrity in media.
Yeah.
And there's way less now because everyone needs crazy voices to get heard. And it actually probably hurts a lot of relationships, which is not the goal of, broadcasting. It should be to develop and cultivate and solve problems. And rather than the critiques, I want people to offer solutions all the time. So nobody knows. And I actually texted Shadeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199.
Yeah.
So who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means.
Now, come on. This is Tom Brady we're talking about. He's not some random ex-player. He's part owner of the Raiders. He's close to Shedeur personally. And GMs actually value his opinion on quarterbacks. If anybody could have vouched for Shedeur, it was him. And the fact that he didn't? That was loud. Then Brady doubled down with the use it as motivation speech. He basically told Shedeur, day 2 matters more than draft day. I was pick 199, so I know how this feels. On paper, it sounds inspiring. But really, it was more like a reminder. You're not special. Nothing will be handed to you here. And the thing is, Brady's actions already proved where he stood. Raiders general manager John Spytek admitted Brady liked 6th rounder Cam Miller's throwing ability. That means Brady did have a say in who the Raiders looked at, and they still passed on Shedeur 7 different times. 7. So when Brady finally spoke on him, it didn't come off like support. It came off like a warning. Kid, be glad you even got a jersey. Now prove you belong. And that's where Deion Sanders made the situation even worse, because his mouth may have been the exact reason Shedeur slid so far in the first place. That Dan Patrick interview still hangs over everything. Deion flat out admitted he wouldn't let Shedeur play for certain teams. He said he'd navigate his son to the right destination. He came off like a dad trying to strong-arm the league before his son even threw an NFL pass.
Where do you predict Shedeur and Travis going in the draft?
Top 4.
Ooh, that's pretty beautiful.
Anywhere from 1 through 4. One of them is going to be 1.
That's what I'm talking about.
One of them is going to be
Speak it
1.
into existence.
And the latter one would not go behind 4. Now, all this is subjective because I know where I kind of want them to go. And let's not forget Shallow, okay? But I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen.
Okay, you on point.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an Eli.
And the NFL doesn't forget moves like that. Execs don't like being told what to do, especially by someone who isn't even in their system. So when Deion went public with that kind of talk, insiders say it turned teams against Shedeur immediately. Instead of seeing him as a top prospect, they started seeing him as baggage, a quarterback who came with strings attached. Skip Bayless even said that was the turning point, that the league heard.
He shamed all of them, including the Cleveland Browns, who finally took him in the 5th round. I'm convinced only because the owner, the publicity-starved owner, just wanted some more shock value publicity. Oh, we took him because he knew what would happen, that the national media would descend on Browns camp, make it a story that might distract the rest of the world from the mess that Jimmy Haslam has made of the Cleveland Browns, especially after he gave $230 million.
So why did Cleveland finally pull the trigger after passing on him 6 different times? That's where the theory comes in. The talk is Deion had to sweeten the deal, whether that meant favors, leverage, or straight up bribes, just to make sure Shedeur got drafted at all. And honestly, it lines up with Deion's history. At Colorado, everything ran through him. He controlled the transfers, the contracts, even the media spotlight. He's always made sure his kids had the stage, no matter what it took. So it's not far-fetched to think he tried the same strategy in the NFL. But here's the problem. The league doesn't play games like that. Execs might let you slide something under the table, but they'll get the last laugh. And the timing couldn't be worse, because while Shedeur was fighting just to stay on the roster, Deion was already trying to clean up another mess with his other son, Shiloh. Shiloh had just been cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after getting ejected for punching another player during their final preseason game. One bad decision, and suddenly his NFL shot was gone before it even started, and Deion knew it.
You can't do that. You got to be able to control yourself, especially in that moment. I know the tight end, they was locked up a little bit. He was probably trying to roughhouse him a little bit, but you have to be able to control yourself. You got to be able to control your emotions, especially in moments like that, especially in a game. So, you have no choice. If you throw a punch, if anything, if your arm extends and it touches the other individual, you going out the game.
At a Colorado press conference, he tried to sound calm, saying he was praying Shiloh would get another chance somewhere else. But even in his own words, he admitted that might not happen. He even slipped in a line about how all the Sanders are going to be straight with or without football, which sounded more like a dad saving face than someone truly confident his son was safe.
Hey, just got to talk to you about, NFL is a tough business. Shiloh had, some bad. It's just, have you talked to him and how are his spirits?
Most definitely. He's my son. I'm proud of my kids, all of them. And I prepared my kids for any and everything that could possibly happen in life and in sports. That's part of fathering, that's part of parenting, that's part of having a relationship. So he is mentally where he needs to be, physically where he needs to be. We're praying that he gets another opportunity to go with a team. But if he doesn't, the plans have already been put forward to what he's going to do next. So Shiloh is a man of many talents. I don't know if you guys know, he's a man of many talents, and he's going to be straight. All the Sanders are going to be straight, with or without football. You better believe that. You better believe that. I take care of mine, and I've always have, and y'all know what I mean. You better believe that.
And that's where the pressure really comes into play. One son possibly out of the league for good, another son free-falling in the draft. For Deion, who's built his entire public image on being the flashy, in-control father coach, that wasn't just bad, it was a crisis. And here's where it gets even worse for Shedeur, because fans haven't been holding back either. This isn't just people saying, oh, the Browns coach didn't give him a fair chance. A lot of fans are straight up saying he never deserved the chance in the first place. One fan put it plain. The problem is that if anyone watched a Colorado game, he had a sack issue. He chooses to hold on to the ball and try to make the hero play instead of the smart one. That's been the knock on him for years. Instead of taking the safe throw, he waits for the highlight moment. And in the NFL, that's not exciting. That's reckless. Another fan went back to the receipts. I've been saying this since before his draft slide. He went 13-12 with Colorado, with Travis Hunter. Bro was never ever an early round pick. And honestly, that one hits. If you can't dominate with one of the best two-way players in the country on your roster, why would pro teams gamble an early pick on you? Others didn't even try to be nice. Shedeur should quit football immediately and start a career in politics with the fans he has, basically saying his popularity is louder than his actual game. And then came the comment that cut the deepest. If his name weren't Sanders, he would have been cut. That ties right back to the whole bribe theory. Fans see it too. Shedeur's not here because of raw talent. He's here because Deion made sure he got a spot, which leaves the NFL in an awkward position, because now it's not just about Shedeur failing, it's about Deion's whole image taking the hit. Execs didn't want to reward Deion for trying to manipulate the process, and they definitely weren't about to hand Shedeur special treatment just because of his last name. Tom Brady knew it too. That's why his little use it as motivation line hit so different. He wasn't lifting Shedeur up. He was telling him flat out, this league doesn't play favorites. If you don't perform, you disappear.